Page 18, Arietta. I want to talk about a few things here. We're getting trickier and trickier. Starting with the right hand. It starts out simple enough. You just have the dotted quarter notes. Now this is in 3/8 time, so an eighth note gets a count. So each of these dotted quarter notes get 3 counts. They're worth 3/8 notes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yes, this is in the key of F. It's got one flat, B flat. Second line, look at that. 3, 2, 1. They're finger staccato and second line, third measure, right hand. The G is tied to the 16th note G. You don't play it again. Now, if it's confusing you, take out the tie temporarily so you can get it. 1, 2, 3, 1. And then when you can do that, put the tie back in. 1, 2, 3, 1. Now that looks ugly, but again, an eighth note gets a count. So a 16th note is like an and. 1 and, 2 and, 3 and. So starting at second measure of the second line, 16th notes, those are all 1 and. 1 and, 2 and, 3 and, 1. Then in that third measure, it is a dotted 16th to a 32nd note. Don't think we've had 32nd notes. 32nd notes have 3 flags or 3 bars. You can see the little 3 bars there. And this is where you get a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and so it's a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 1. So it comes on 1E and 2E and 3E and 1. You have to work it out carefully that way, and then you gradually speed it up. It's a dotted rhythm. Just to make it even more interesting, look at the last line. It's basically the same, except now they've added a grace note in there. So look at the last 3 measures on page 18 in the right hand. It's here. Now different people are going to play the grace note differently. It's however your teacher is teaching you. I was taught to play these on the beat. A lot of people say no, you play grace notes before the beat. It's 2 different styles. It's different ways of doing it. You decide how you want. When I get to that grace note, I'm going to play the A, the little note, with the left hand. And it's very, very short. It's almost at the same time. If you want to play it before the beat, that's up to you, I guess. Now, at the top of page 19, we have an alternate between staccato, legato, and this is important. So there, make sure you play those articulations. Staccato, legato, staccato. You get the idea? Third line down. The line starts out okay. You have an A, second finger A. And then the next measure is G, G. They're saying fourth finger on the F for the third measure. Then you get to go way up to the high F. Yes, that's a high F. Let's look at this just a little bit. In the second measure, you're here. I recommend for the third measure you put a thumb on that F, not a fourth finger. Because now you're in position. You can reach the high F. It's just an octave. You don't have to look or nothing. It's right there. And then for the last C, the 16th note C, I recommend third finger. So you can put second finger on the B flat. And then fourth finger. So again, very slowly, starting with the second measure, you're here. Thumb, reach up, third finger, fourth finger, and then the rest of this is a run. Now we have a problem with the run because of the black notes in the wrong spot. If I do it this way, like I'd like to do it, that puts a thumb on a black note. I can't do that in this case, because if I do that, then I got to cross over it. Blech. So we have to adjust the fingering of this run there in the fourth line down. So you're starting out with third finger. Then for the last note of the measure, the D, do fourth finger, and third finger on the, and then a 2, 3, and that works out quite well. Then in the last line, the last two measures, again, you got that little grace note again. I do it with the left hand. Speaking of the left hand, look at the top on page 18. We have two voices going on. We've had multiple voices in the same staff before. The bottom voice is getting the, in this case, it's saying the eighth notes. Typically, the voice that holds out is the bottom voice, but they're showing it as the top voice. So in that case, the notes with the stems going down is what I'm talking about. It's eighth notes. Then the other voice is the quarter note. The dotted quarter note is here. It's the first note of the measure. Play them together and you get this. Talk about the fingering on all that mess. You're starting out, use their fingering to start with. You have a 4, and then a 2, and then a 3, and then a 5. Reach down because you want to connect them. There's no pedal in this, so your fingers got to do it all. And then a 4, and then a 2. Now use 5 and they're saying 5 and 3. I say 5 and 4. Because again, you're in this position. It's a C major chord extended out. You just, and then for the third line down, the first one there, use a 3 because you're here. Use 3, 2, 3, 5. 3, 2. Work out that carefully so you can, you're holding down the right notes at the right time. So we're playing, basically it's a trio. It's 3 because you're adding the right hand to it. So you have the melody going its thing. Then in the left hand you got the eighth notes. Put those two together, you get this. Now we add the third voice, is this. Add that to the melody, you get this. Now put all three voices together and you got it. You just have to think for 3 people all at the same time. Piece of cake, right? Top of page 19. Left hand, now you're just doing chords, staccato chords. Our wrist is fine. They're light. It says loud, but this really, it's not a heavy piece. So it's I'd still do a wrist staccato. You have to keep it under the melody. The melody's loud, not the accompaniment. Until you get to the last measure of the second line, and now you're back to your same style at the beginning here. Problem there in the third line that we really can't connect these notes because the little finger's playing them all, so you connect them as best you can, and that's going to have to do. The other notes are not staccato, they're just separated. At the top of page 19 you're playing the chord staccato, but when you get to here on the third line down, well, it starts with the last measure of the second line. Those eighth notes are not staccato. Just separate them is all. And that's really about all it is there. When you get down the fourth line down in the left hand, the last three measures, again, that is a 4, 2, 3, 5. It's like at the beginning. Roadmap on this, page 19, basically you play twice because it's got repeat signs. There you see it's surrounded by repeat signs, so you're going to play it twice. And that's pretty much it. Andantino, well, there's a difference of opinion on how fast Andantino goes. Some people say it's a little slower than Andante. Some people say, no, it's a little faster than Andante. And Andantino is a little Andante, which puts it up. I tend to go with a little slower Andante, but you decide. I mean, it's a range anyway, so ugh. So it's just like a eighth note gets a count. So you're counting eighth notes. Makes sense, I guess. So it's like a 1. It's just a nice light thing. So I'll give us 3 counts and let's play this together. So your hands are here. Yeah, okay. 1, ready, go. 3. Repeat. Off.